The screen door slammed behind me like a gunshot in the sticky Alabama night, and I hit the gravel driveway knees first, tasting blood from where my lips split against my own fist. "You're dead to me, Jaden. Get out and don't come back, you filthy sinner." Mom's voice cracked through the humid air, her silhouette framed in the porch light like some vengeful ghost from a backwoods revival. I was 17, backpack slung over one shoulder with nothing but a toothbrush and the Bible she'd shoved at me like it could exorcise the truth I just confessed. "I'm gay, Mom." And in that split-second roar of her rejection, the world I'd known shattered into 1,000 jagged pieces, each one drawing fresh blood as I stumbled toward the highway, headlights blurring through hot tears. That was the night everything ended, or so I thought. Piney woods blurred past as I hitchhiked north, thumb out like a desperate prayer, the summer heat clinging to my skin like shame. Trucks rumbled by, their drivers eyeing me. A scrawny kid with a buzz cut and eyes too wide for my face, like fresh meat. The first one who stopped was Earl, a burly trucker with a Confederate flag sticker on his dash and a laugh like gravel under tires. "Hop in, boy. Where you headed?" "Anywhere but here," I muttered, sliding into the cab that reeked of diesel and stale cigarettes. He bought me a burger at a Waffle House off I-65, asked about my folks, and when I clammed up, he just nodded like he knew the score. But by mobile, his hand was on my thigh, heavy and insistent, and I bolted at a gas station, heart pounding, wallet lighter by the 20 he'd slipped me like payment for nothing. Streets became my new family, the kind that bites back. I washed up in Atlanta first, sleeping in alleyways behind Peachtree Street bars, dodging cops and creeps who saw vulnerability as an invitation. Hunger gnawed worse than the cold. I'd scrounge dumpsters for half-eaten subs, my ribs showing like accusations under threadbare tees. One dawn, shivering under a bridge by the Chattahoochee, I met Ricky, a wiry kid my age with tattoos snaking up his arms and a grin that promised trouble. "You look like fresh bait, man. Stick with me. I'll show you the ropes." He taught me the game. Panhandling tourists at Centennial Park, boosting candy bars from corner stores, crashing in squats with other runaways who shared smokes and stories like war wounds. Ricky was straight, or so he swore, but his touches lingered too long in the dark, and when I finally pushed him away one night, whispering that I wasn't his experiment, he laughed it off, until the next morning, when he sold me out to a dealer for a fix, leaving me beaten bloody in a parking lot, ribs cracked and pride pulverized. Trust? That died quick. I bounced to Nashville, then Louisville, each Greyhound ticket bought with odd jobs, washing dishes in greasy spoons, bagging groceries where the manager leered and shorted my pay. The mistreatment piled on like unpaid debts. Slurs hissed from passing cars, fists from drunks who mistook my silence for weakness. A night in juvie after a shoplift gone wrong where the guards turned blind eyes to the older inmates. Lessons. I learned to build walls higher than the Appalachians, to smile through the ache, to tell myself I was invisible and that was mercy. But invisibility has a price. It hollows you out until you're just a shell rattling in the wind. By 19, I'd clawed my way to New York City, the concrete jungle that chews up dreams and spits out survivors. I crashed on a buddy's couch in Brooklyn, some guy from a shelter who'd lost his own kid to the system, and hustled as a barista in a Williamsburg cafe, the kind with exposed brick and overpriced lattes. That's where Cole walked in, on a drizzly October afternoon that smelled like wet leaves and possibility. He was everything I wasn't. Tall, with that effortless Midwestern charm, sandy hair tousled like he just rolled out of a flannel ad, and eyes the color of Lake Michigan on a good day. Clear, steady, seeing right through my bullshit. "Large black coffee, extra strong," he said, flashing a smile that hit me like caffeine straight to the veins. "Rough night." I shrugged, handing over the cup, our fingers brushing just long enough to spark something dangerous. "Every night's rough in this city." He lingered, asking about the band posters on the wall, and before I knew it, we were talking Springsteen, his gravelly anthems about blue-collar heartbreak mirroring the ache I carried. Cole was from Detroit, a graphic designer who'd traded factory shadows for freelance gigs, chasing the American dream one pitch at a time. We swapped numbers on a napkin, and that night, over cheap pizza in his tiny Bushwick walk-up, he listened as I spilled fragments of my story, the cast-out kid, the streets that scarred more than skin. No pity in his eyes, just a quiet nod. "Sounds like you've been carrying the weight of the world, Jaden. Let me help shoulder some." What bloomed between us was slow, like jazz spilling from a corner sax. romantic in the stolen moments, emotional in the late-night confessions. We'd wander the high line at sunset, hands brushing until one of us caved and laced fingers, the city lights winking approval. Cole had his own ghosts. A dad lost to the bottle, a mom who loved from afar via Hallmark cards. But with me he was gentle, fierce, kissing my knuckles when nightmares woke me sweating, whispering that I was enough, just as I was. "You're not broken, Jay," he'd say, pulling me close under threadbare quilts. "You're a goddamn survivor." For the first time, I believed in redemption, in love that didn't demand I hide. We built a life thread by thread. Him landing a gig with an ad agency, me enrolling in community college for graphic arts, our first Christmas tree a Charlie Brown special in the corner of our one-bedroom. But betrayal has a way of sneaking up like fog off the Hudson. It came via a letter, postmarked from Dothan, Alabama. Mom's handwriting, shaky as her voice that last night. I'd burned every trace of her in my mind, but Cole urged me to open it. "You can't run forever, babe. Face it or it'll face you." Inside, a plea, scribbled on yellowed notepaper. "Jaden, my boy, cancer's eating me alive, stage 4. I was wrong. God, so wrong. Come home, please." Attached was a photo of us at 8. Me gap-toothed and grinning on her lap at a county fair, cotton candy staining our smiles. My chest caved like a gut punch. Cole held me as sobs racked my frame, his shirt soaked with the grief I'd banked for years. "What do you want to do?" he asked, voice steady as steel. I didn't go, not then. Rage simmered, hot and righteous. How dare she? After the silence, the abandonment, the way she'd remarried some deacon who preached fire and brimstone from the pulpit? Letters piled up, each more desperate. Updates on chemo, regrets spilling like confessions in the dark. I told the church, Jaden. Lost friends, but gained truth. You're my son. Always. Cole became my anchor, his love the romance that kept me afloat. Picnics in Central Park, surprise sketches of us as superheroes, nights where we danced slow to Motown in our kitchen, his chin on my shoulder whispering futures. But the conflict gnawed. Forgiveness or finality? It peaked one gray November evening, Cole out on a client call. When the phone rang, unknown number, Alabama area code. Jaden. Her voice, frail as tissue paper. It's me. I gripped the receiver like a lifeline or a noose. What do you want, Mom? Silence stretched, broken only by her ragged breaths. To see you, before it's too late. I love you. I was scared, raised in fear. But you're my heart, boy. Always were. Words tumbled then. Mine sharp as shattered glass, hers crumbling like dry leaves. I hurled the mistreatment back. The beatings from stepdad, the slurs she'd echoed, the nights I'd gone hungry because pride cost more than groceries. She wept, unfiltered, the sound of a woman unraveling. I know. God help me, I know. But Cole, he sounds like a good man. From your letters. You deserve that joy. Hearing his name from her lips cracked something deep. Cole, who'd bandaged my wounds literal and not, who'd taught me trust wasn't a trap. The climax hit like a thunderclap. I booked a flight that night, Cole driving me to JFK, his hand on mine the whole way. I'll be here when you get back, he promised, kissing me fierce in the terminal chaos. Whatever you decide, it's yours. Dothan hadn't changed. Same dusty roads, same Baptist steeples piercing the sky like accusations. The trailer sagged under magnolia branches. Mom thinner than smoke, hooked to an oxygen tank that hissed like accusation. Stepdad was gone, church too. She'd burned bridges to build one back to me. We sat on the porch swing, the one where she'd read me Where the Red Fern Grows as a kid, and talked till dawn. No easy absolution, just raw, humanistic unraveling. She begged forgiveness not with grand gestures, but with truths, her own hidden pains, a youth stifled by small-town bigotry, the regret that cancer couldn't touch but amplified. I cast you out to save myself, she admitted, eyes like cracked porcelain. But you saved yourself. And that's the grace I pray for. I didn't absolve her outright. Forgiveness isn't a switch flipped. But as the sun crested, painting the pines gold, I took her hand, frail veins mapping a lifetime of choices. I came because you're still my mom. And maybe that's enough for now. Back in Brooklyn, Cole waited with takeout tie and that lopsided grin. How'd it go? I collapsed into him, the weight lifting just a fraction. It hurt, but it healed something too. We made love to the city hum. Not frantic, but tender, bodies entwined like roots seeking soil. Months blurred. Mom's letters steadied, visits tentative but building. Her meeting Cole over pecan pie at our place. Awkward laughs thawing the ice. She passed that spring, peaceful in hospice, me at her side, holding the photo she'd kept all those years. No dramatic deathbed vow, just a squeeze of my hand and a whisper, "Proud of you, son." Grief came in waves, but so did grace. Cole and I married in a quiet ceremony at City Hall. Rings simple silver, vows promising the romance we'd earned. Through betrayals weathered, conflicts conquered. We adopted a rescue mutt named Scout, started a design firm blending our talents, turned our scars into stories for queer youth shelters. America, for all its fractures, its backroad bigotries and urban hustles, taught me that we're all cast out sometimes, mistreated by the hands that should hold us. But love, that's the rebellion, the humanistic heart that begs us back, one forgiven step at a time. In the end, it's not the leaving that defines us, but the returning, not to the pain but to the possibility. And in Cole's arms, under New York's relentless sky, I found my home. Not perfect, but profoundly mine.